Hello students. So in the previous class we have discussed about the general characteristics of reptiles. Before that we have completed the general characteristic features of the amphibians. So now today we are going to conclude this topic, that is so we are going to complete about the characteristics of aves. So right now that is class aves. So now aves is also considered as birds. As you already know that aves are also called as birds. So now first character, number 1. You are familiar with that. You have to imagine that one bird is there in front of you and go on writing the characters. Earlier I told you in the case of amphibia as well as reptilian how to write the characters. Similarly, now same features you have to follow. First the meaning, second one is division of the body. First one we have to write about the head characters, what the head character bears or the parts which is going to be found. Then we are moving toward the trunk region. So now what the trunk region consisting of? Usually the higher animals what we have seen that the forelimbs and hind limbs, it is common. So now we have studied in the case of amphibia and reptilia, they are cold-blooded or pyknothermic. Now onwards you can see that advanced characters are going to be found, that is the homeothermic or the warm-blooded animals. So like that you have to write down characters minimum 5 to 6 characters. The characters are fixed then you come to know. So not necessary to by heart, right? So now class aves, not necessary to write that commonly called as birds, or if you want you can write down that is commonly called as birds. They are commonly considered as birds, right? This is the name, common name, that what we are saying, that they commonly called as birds. Now second character, birds where they are going to be found specifically. Some of the birds you can see that they are aquatic in nature. Aquatic birds are also there. Some are normally found on terrestrial, some are aerial. So now these are aquatic or terrestrial or aerial mode of life. Aerial mode of life is now majority and the nature of it is usually you can see that the most of the time they can spend on the air. Most of the time they spend on the air, that is the aerial mode of life that what we have observed. Some are terrestrial and now some are aquatic. Aquatic means normally they are found in on the water bodies. On the water bodies you can see that they are not found inside only, right? Always in duck and all those things you can see that they are found in the water. So now this is the second character as a habitat. Third one is body is divisible into. Head, neck, trunk and tail. So this is the unique character, you can see that body is divisible into head, neck, trunk and tail. So now head, neck, trunk and tail. This is the division of the body what we are observing. Division of the body is supposed to be taking place. Head, neck, trunk and tail. Neck is there. Earlier we have studied that head, trunk and tail. So head, neck, trunk and tail. Next, fourth character. First we have to complete the head character. Head bears beak. What is the importance of beak? So now beak is mainly meant for collection of food material. There are different types of beak. Based on or depends on the food habit. Different birds are having different kinds of beak. So whichever the food is they are going to be collecting. For example, blunt beak is going to be found in the parrot, so that they are collecting the fruit. Sharp beak is going to be found in the case of birds. You can see that those who are collecting the flesh, for tearing the flesh, you can see that seed eating birds are also there. A pointed small beak is going to be found. So like that various kinds of beaks are going to be found. They are mainly meant for collection of the food food material. So usually they contain a horny sheath inside because beak does not contain the teeth. Illi teeth irodilla. So now the jaws which is supposed to be having the horny sheath. So that horny sheath is mainly meant for the crushing or cutting the food material partially, not grinding which may take place like in the human body. So partially the cutting which is going to be taking place in the beak because it contains the horny sheath. Horny sheath is going to be found. So normally head bears beak, toothless beak anta kuda karithare. Hauda alli ಏನಂದ್ರೆ teeth are normally absent in that region. Next is pair of eyes, right? Pair of eyes are going to be found. Next we can see that thing. Here also we are observing that thing. Tympanum represents ear. Ear is going to be found here. That all you can observe that the characteristic features are going to be found similar. Ishtu saku head bears beak. Beak is important. Beak mere. Above the beak you can observe that a soft skin is also there. The skin is normally called as siri anta kuda karithare. So now this is the normally we are observing that is the bird. You can see that either melgade above this a small thin skin like skin is going to be found here. This is called as the siri, which is normally meant for the sensation. Sensory you can observe that they are normally maintain the sensation. You can observe that the siri anta bartave, that is the soft skin which is going to be found on the beak. So this is a unique character what we are observing. So next is the sensory structure is there so that they can identify that which kind of the food is going to be collected. Next fifth character, trunk bears pair of forelimbs and hind limbs. So here we have seen that the unique feature what we are seeing that trunk bears pair of forelimbs and hind limbs. Next, ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಿದೆ important character ನೋಡಿ, continuation of this. Forelimbs are modified into wings. Forelimbs are modified into wings. Forelimbs are modified into wings. Right? Forelimbs are modified into wings. The modification which may take place. Forelimbs are modified into wings. What purpose? For flying. Okay? Forelimbs are modified into wings for flying. Andre, normally flight adaptation is going to be found in the case of birds. Then next is some of the birds are considered as flightless birds. Some of the birds are considered as flightless birds. Of the flightless birds, how are they? Ostrich. We are observing it as a flightless bird. Forelimbs are modified to wings for flying. Some are flightless. Example here, ostrich. Next is hind limbs. Here only I am writing. Hind limbs contain scales which are modified for walking, crawling, etc. Or swimming, you can observe it. Crawling or the swimming, it is going to be taking place. So now hind limbs contain scales. Scales are present. What is the importance of this? So you can observe that little explanation is going to be found in this region. This hind limbs, you can see that hind limbs contain scales. Have you observed scales in the case of birds? Because as we have observed in the case of the reptiles are normally consisting of the scales and the other. Reptiles normally made up of the scales. The body is made up of the scales and the other. So now, in the case of reptiles, as we have observed, the scales are going to be found. Other than scales, now we can see that evolutionary character we are observing in the case of birds. Birds are normally evolved from the reptiles. How you are saying that they are evolved from the reptiles? reptiles? Because of the presence of scales. Because of the presence of scales. Have you observed scales? No. Already you know that. I think most of you have seen the birds. Birds are normally consisting of the feathers. The feathers irthav melgade. But now entire body is covered by feathers except hind legs. Entire body is normally covered by feathers except hind legs. This is the unique feature what we are saying that hind legs ಬಂದ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಎಲ್ಲ ಕಡೆ feathers ಇರ್ತವೆ. So this is what we are observing that. ಹೌದಾ? Body is normally made up of the feathers ಅಂತ ಕರೀತೀವಿ. Body is normally made up of the feathers except hind legs. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಈ hind legs ನಲ್ಲಿ scales ಇರ್ತವೆ. These are called as scales. ಅಂದ್ರೆ this is normally considered as an evolutionary character. From these are the birds which are evolved from the reptiles. That is the unique character we are observing in the case of birds. Right? Scales are going to be formed. Next is idu four limbs. Now we can see that trunk also bears. Body is covered by feathers. Body is covered by feathers except hind legs. Scales are going to be found. So now, what is the role of feathers? Feathers importance is feathers are distributed on the body surface, complete. Right from head to tail, you can see that the feathers are going to be found. What is the role of feathers? Feathers are mainly meant for or acting as insulator. Feathers are acting as insulator. Feathers are normally acting as sexual attraction. So you can observe that the peacock, male peacock, how they are going to be open the feathers and all this. So like this, except hind legs, entire body is covered by feathers. Right? This is what we have seen the unique feature in the case of birds. Birds are now feathers are not. Feathers they are acting as insulator. Insulator they are making warm. Warming you can see that. It is a unique feature. Insulator. Rainy season you can observe that if a drop of water fall on the feathers means they are not enter inside the body. Pura body ಒಳಗಡೆ ವೆಂಟ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಹೌದಾ? Why? Because it may fall on the ground immediately. ಅದಕ್ಕಾಗಿ in the case of rainy season the feathers are acting as raincoat. Winter season they are acting as sweater ಅಂತ ಕೂಡ ಅನ್ಬೋದು. ಅಂದ್ರೆ they are making the insulator. Insulation ಅಂತ ನಾವು word use ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ. Right. Next is heat ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ body. You can see that they are warming. Seventh one. Four limbs and limbs. Last we are moving toward the tail region. Tail ಈಗ ನೋಡಿ. Skin is dry. Skin is dry. ಹೌದಾ? Common. Oil gland is present at the base of the tail. The tail is short here. Tail is elongated tail irodilla. At the end of the tail you can see that, or the base region of the tail you can see that the oil gland is going to be found. What is the role of oil gland? You can observe that the oil glands are mainly meant for secretion of oil so that feathers are leathery. Feathers are leathery and shining. ನೋಡಿರಬಹುದು birds feather ಯಾವ ರೀತಿ shining ಇರ್ತವೆ. You can see that it's because of the presence of oil gland. ಎಷ್ಟೊಂದು important shining and all those things. So even though we are cleaning the body 2 to 3 times in a day, ಹೌದಾ, it may not shine. But now feathers are always shining. You can observe that it is because of the presence of oil gland which is situated at the basal part of the tail or basal region of the tail. Next is ಇದೆಲ್ಲ unique character. All are unique characteristics. That is why birds character usually they are asking. So many characters it is going to be observed. Next is now we are moving towards the internal character. External character ಎಲ್ಲ ಮುಗಿದು now we are moving towards the internal character. Internal character ಏನಿರ್ತವೆ? Respiration. Respiration takes place by lungs. Respiration takes place by lungs associated with air sacs. So what is the role of air sacs? You can see that associated with air sacs. Air sacs importance is they are normally help for breathing purpose. You can see because breathing rate is high in the case of birds. During the time of flying, you can observe that the breathing rate is high. At the time, you can observe that the requirement of the oxygen, liberation of carbon dioxide is also more. Because of this, lungs are not sufficient, pair of lungs are not sufficient. Because of that, additional air sacs are there. They are normally maintaining the air, inhaling as well as exhaling. That is why air sacs are going to be formed. So now, ninth one, digestive system consists of crop and gizzard. This is also a unique character you can see. Digestive system consists of crop and gizzard. What is the importance of this? Digestive system consists of crop and gizzard. Crop, we are observing that crop usually they are meant for storage. Idu crop. This is what we are observing it as a crop. A crop-like structure, you can see that. So crop is nothing but the extended part of the esophagus. Extended part of the esophagus. And now here storage of food is going to be taking place. Why the storage is essential? Because partially cutting of food that has been occurred in the beak. Now you can see that additional chambers are going to be formed. That is digestive system. We have additional chambers. Crop and gizzard. Crop is storage. It is stored ಮಾಡುತ್ತದೆ. Now you can observe that here gizzard is present. ಅಂದ್ರೆ small chitinous teeth are present. ಈ chitinous teeth edike help ಇದೆ? The chitinous teeth is mainly meant for crushing or grinding. Gizzard is mainly meant for crushing or the grinding of food. Gizzard. Crop is mainly meant for crop edike use andre storage. ಹೌದಾ? ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಏನು? Now complete grinding is going to be taking place from the mouth to gizzard. Right? This is the digestive system. Now you can see that the 10th character. These are homeothermic. These are homeothermic. What do you mean by the term homeothermic? Warm-blooded. Warm-blooded means now we can see that they cannot change the body temperature according to the surrounding. According to surrounding, now it is not going to change the body temperature. It is not going to be occurring. That is what we are saying, that warm-blooded. 11th one, bones are hollow and pneumatic. Bones are hollow and pneumatic. So now pneumatic andre kuda hollow ಇದೆ. So now bones are hollow and pneumatic andre it is filled with the air cavities. It is filled with the air chamber. Why it is normally filled with the air chamber? Because normally you can observe that thing. ಯಾಕಂತಂದ್ರೆ flight adaptation is going to be formed. ಎಲ್ಲಾನು ಕೂಡ ಈಗ bones weight ಇತ್ತು ಅಂದ್ರೆ it is not able to fly. ಅಂದ್ರೆ it has to make the struggle. That is why bones are hollow and pneumatic. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಹೇಳ್ತೀನಿ flight adaptation is there. Why flight adaptation ಇದೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ bones are hollow and pneumatic, filled with the air cavity. So hence it is able to fly in the air easily. Even we can observe that in the case of the urinary bladder is also absent. Urinary bladder kuda absent irutte. What is the function of the urinary bladder? Urinary bladder plays an important role for the storage of urine. If the storage of urine is taking place, again weight increases. Then again flying is not possible. So that is why urinary bladder is also absent. So idonde ni barbodu according to the syllabus you can see that the bones are hollow and the pneumatic. Next, last characters you can observe that the 12th one, again sexes are separate, same character. Sexes are separate. Next, sexes are separate. Then the male and females are the developed. Fertilization is internal. development is direct, comma oviparous, development is direct, comma oviparous. Will the same thing that what we have studied. So now next we have to write the examples. Examples, and there are more examples. Examples we can observe that pavo, andre peacock, stutio, ostrich, right? So the pavo, peacock, psittacula, P is silent, parrot. So like this, so many examples. Columba, and now we can observe that the pigeon, Columba, the pigeon and the Columba. So we can see that different examples are going to be found in the case of the stutio, ostrich, peacock, and all those things. Corvus, corvus and crow. So these are the examples what we have seen that in the textbook. You can see the examples which is important in the examination part. So many examples are there. The examples will just you have to remember. Apart from the corvus, crow, neophron, vulture, neophron, vulture. So all these are the examples you have to see that. See, ivella character once you have to read out, not necessary to by heart. By heart, read out and automatically it becomes. Body divisible. Birds related the enormous amount of the characters are going to be found here. Right? So now, idu aves. Lastly, we are moving toward the class mammalian. We are moving towards the last one, that is class mammalian. Either 6 to 7 characters easily you are going to write. Class mammalian. Class mammalian. Right. So now here mammals you can see that. What do you mean by this in the Kerala? So you can see that class mammalian. The animals bear mammary glands to nourish their young ones. Characters, birds character important. Either you have to write the textbook or you have to write whatever I have written which is important. Notes, if it is there, then I will provide. Otherwise, take down these characters and or see the textbook. If 4 characters one extra character you can see that. And a stepwise character I have written the stepwise character. Always you have to write lastly reproduction character our last review. For the meaning you can see that. Right. So now second character we have to write about that. Second character is usually you can see that they are present on the, not necessary to write. So directly I am going to write. So in the case of the birds we have studied the neck. Neck is movable. So here also body is divisible into head, neck, trunk and tail, because normally we come to know that the mammals all the animals we have seen including the human beings. So body is divisible into habitat they are present in the aquatic. So normally whale, all those things whale so you know about this. Some of them are present in the polar ice caps, some of them are present in the deserts. So like that, some of them are present in the mountain region. So various regions are normally occupied by the mammalian. Mammalians all regionally occupied. So now that is why I am not written here. So almost all kinds of environment they are going to be found. One word we have discussed earlier, that is cosmopolitan. So like this, that is why I am not written. ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಬರೀಬಹುದು, ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ ಕಂಟಿನ್ಯೂಸ್ ಆಗಿ I have written about the habitat. So again that habit has to be created. That is why ನೀವು ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಬರೀಬಹುದು terrestrial, aquatic, present on the desert area, mountain region, polar ice caps. So in this way, crevices also. So in this way, enormous amount of the organisms or the mammals, they are distributed in the various climatic conditions. Next, body is visible into head, neck, trunk and tail. If head bears, beak and tail. Now you can see that important character I am going to write. Head bears, pair of eyes, comma. ಮತ್ತೆ ಜೊತೆಗೆ ಏನಿದೆ? Mouth contain teeth located in the jaw. So now different kinds of teeth are going to be found. Very teeth irtave. Now later on we are going to study in the digestive system or whenever we are going to study. So now different kinds of teeth are going to be found here. Very teeth irabo. Just I think you have studied in the earlier class. Heterodont teeth ಅಂತ ನಾವು ಕರೀತೀವಿ. Heterodont ಅಂದ್ರೆ different kinds of teeth are going to be found in the case of the molar, premolars, incisors, canines, premolars, molars ಅಂತ ಓದಿರಬಹುದು. So different kinds of teeth are going to be found in the jaws. They are fixed in the jaws. That is in the mouth. Next is again in the head character you can see that. So this is the third character. Fourth character only. Now in the fourth character we have seen that ನಾಲ್ಕನೇ character ಏನು ನೋಡ್ತೀವಿ ಅಂದ್ರೆ here you can see that the presence of external ear. This is a unique feature we are observing, that presence of external ear or pinna. Presence of external ear or pinna, it is going to be found. ಇದಕ್ಕೆ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಟರ್ನಲ್ ಇಯರ್ ಅಥವಾ ಪಿನ್ನ ಅಂತ ಕೂಡ ಕರೀತಾರೆ. ರೈಟ್, ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಯೂನಿಕ್ ಕ್ಯಾರೆಕ್ಟರ್. ನಾವು ವಿ ಆರ್ ಗೋಯಿಂಗ್ ಟು ವಾಟ್ ದ ಫಿಫ್ತ್ ಕ್ಯಾರೆಕ್ಟರ್, ಸಿಂಪಲ್ ಕ್ಯಾರೆಕ್ಟರ್. ಹೌದಾ? ಪ್ರೆಸೆನ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಟ್ರಂಕ್, ನೆಕ್ ಆಯ್ತು, ಟ್ರಂಕ್, ಬಿಯರ್ಸ್, ಪೇರ್ ಆಫ್ forelimbs and hind limbs. A pair of forelimbs and hind limbs, just you have to observe that they are meant for walking or swimming purpose, aquatic purpose. So you can see that walking, swimming, running, so that is normally meant for locomotion. That's what we are saying. So movement. Trunk bears pair of forelimbs and hind limbs, movement purpose. Next, sixth one you can see that army character note 3. These are under mammals. These are homeothermic or warm blooded. These are homeothermic or warm blooded. Now next, seventh character, you can see that the skin bears hair. Hairs are going to be formed. Skin bear hairs. That's what we are seeing, that the unique feature. Hairs, the body is covered by hairs in the Pudamari. Skin bear hairs in the body is covered by hairs. Presence of hairs, presence of mammary glands, presence of external ear pinna. These four anyway unique characteristics of mammary. These three are unique characteristic feature of the mammals. Next, eighth one you can see that respiration takes place by lungs. Same character, pair of lungs are there, respiration takes place by lungs. Next, sexes are separate, comma, fertilization is, sexes are separate, fertilization is internal. Fertilization is internal. Last, 10th character, development is direct, comma, viviparous. Viviparous, except platypus. Okay. Platypus is oviparous. So now here we have to see that the unique features. Development is direct. Viviparous and the one which is normally produced in the egg one. All majority of them are viviparous except platypus. Right? It is considered as an oviparous. Oviparous andre egg lay. Adonde duck-billed platypus anta ನಾವು ಕರೀತೀವಿ. So in this way we have studied about the mammalian character. Now we have to write the examples. Examples, you can see that so many characters are going to be found here. Apart from this, not given here. Sweat glands are present. Sweating is going to be taking place while a VIKAS. So now here we have to see that automatically they are going to maintain the body temperature. Body temperature is going to be maintained constantly. Constant body temperature. Fluctuation ಆಗಲ್ಲ. cold ಆಗೋದು, warm ಆಗೋದು ಆ ಥರ ಅಲ್ಲ. ಅದಕ್ಕಾಗಿ ನಾವು ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ ಹೋಮಿಯೋಥರ್ಮಿಕ್ ಅಂತ ಕರೀತೀವಿ. Warm blood. So now examples you can see that in ornithorhynchus, that is platypus. So this is what we have observed about the oviparous. Okay, this one macaca, monkey, right? Camelus, camel, equus, horse. So right, so now Panthera leo ಬರ್ತದೆ. ಹೌದಾ? Panthera leo lion, tigris tiger, canis ಅಂದ್ರೆ dog, canis ಅಂದ್ರೆ dog, what we are observing that. So like that, so many characters are going to be found. ಹೌದಾ? This way kangaroo rat ಬರ್ತದೆ. Kangaroo is also there. You can see that and several examples are there. ನಾನು ಒಂದೇನು ಬರ್ತೀನಿ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಒಂದು egg laying. Another one is normally these are the viviparous animals. So many examples. Panthera leo ಅಂತ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. Panthera leo, lion. So like this. So many characters are there which is going to be found. That is the examples. So these are the characters what we have studied in the case of the mammals. ನಿಮ್ಮ ಮೊದಲು ಗೊತ್ತು ಮಾಡ್ಕೋಬೇಕು, right from amphibia to the last, that is the mammalia, how to write the characters. Don't by heart. First you have to study the head, trunk, tail. ಮೂರು character ಅಂದ್ರೆ external character, if you completed this, then you go for the internal characters. How the digestion is to be taking place, how the oiculothermic ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಏನು, then the two-chambered heart, four-chambered heart. I have not written in the case of aves. Aves ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು character ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ add ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. Aves and mammals, they are the four-chambered heart. Aves and mammals, they are four-chambered heart, because here you have to write down this in continuation part. Skin based fertilization is internal development. So 11th one I am writing character here. Heart is four-chambered. This one character, even in the case of birds also have that. You know, number of characters it is increasing. So keeping in mind one example, either it be pigeon or the parrot or the hen. So now go on writing the characters without by hearting. So heart is four-chambered. Four-chambered andre two auricles, two ventricles ಅಂತ ಬರ್ತದೆ. ಅದಕ್ಕಾಗಿ double circulation is going to be taking place, which is advantageous. So that mixing up of the blood is not taking place. Four-chambered heart, two auricles, two ventricles. So these are the characters which are supposed to be found. ಇಲ್ಲಿ unique features ಯಾವಾಗಲೇ ಮೂರು: skin bears hairs, and now presence of external ear pinna, mouth contain teeth, and the mammary glands. Unique characteristic of the mammals. For all of you, ಒಂದು ಸಲ ಒಂದು page ತಗೊಂಡು you have to write down all those things, then automatically it may come across. That is 6 to 7 characters. For all of you, okay. Have a nice day. We'll meet on the next lesson. After completion of one more lesson is there, it is biomolecules. Biomolecules, then we are going to start one more chapter. Okay.